CL for Life has spent the last 2 days living the dream. Their quest has been catharsis, triumph, and ambition all rolled into one. Only one team remains between them and Montreal, Oxygen, determined to redeem themselves for a stage that was seemingly squandered before they got to this point. Their battle will be legendary, and we as Siege fans are lucky to witness it. This is the NAL Last Chance Qualifiers Grand Finals. I am Corbeck. Alongside me, Laxing, Foxay. Guys, I honestly wish there was a world in which both these teams could go to the major, but of course, only one can.
I mean, I wish CL4L could be in Pro League with how well. I mean, Patrick said it yesterday.
Yes,
they're a Pro League
so.
team. I wish they could be a Pro League team because they have been absolutely putting on a stellar performance. But Oxygen, on the other hand, also has been doing the exact same. They have been performing extremely well just in their matchup today against M80, and they're sitting fresh. They're rested. They have been waiting for this game, which that can be a little bit of a double-edged sword. But given how close that CL4 Life game went, that can be also another sword or a thorn in the side for them because they haven't had a lot of time to rest.
Yeah, of course. I mean, they haven't had much time to rest, but at the same time, it could be a double-edged sword for OXG. You know, they're sitting, the time goes on, they played earlier, they could have their energy depleted, so it is a marathon game nonetheless.
I mean, Oxygen, they have been absolutely electric here in the LCQs. They have made a great case for why they should go to the major. They look better than they have been at pretty much any time previously in the stage.
Yeah, I mean, OXG definitely has come alive, and it's the team that we've been desperately waiting to see. I mean, obviously, in the last 2 days, it's been a whole new OXG. They've been playing together. Their attacks have been super clear, super crispy on the way that they want to be able to attack. And they beat, arguably, the favorite, M80, coming out of the LCQ. So now they're in a position where no matter who they face, they have the confidence on their side. So not only does it amplify them because they have the confidence, but it finally makes sense with their strategy because everything is going right. The way that they are playing off of each other, everything is fully in sync, and it just makes it all that much more better. And all of the energy that we see from the players too is a huge impact. We talked about it, Newers being alive, everybody in the team looking like they're enjoying themselves, being there for the game completely. And I mean, it was such an amazing domination win. And a little bit of the teamwork, I think it's nice to see their teamwork coming together too.
Yeah, I mean, their teamwork has definitely been the biggest factor here that has truly made this team perform well above and beyond. But it's a question of can they keep that going now that they have kind of been sitting, waiting for this game. But truthfully, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think we are going to get a crazy matchup.
Yeah, and I mean, I have a round to show you guys that exactly displays just how good OXG's teamwork is. This was in their last match, the last round against M80, and look at this CCTV take. They decide to just rush it in the breach. Everybody hits red from below and above. This is not your conventional CCTV take where you go through garage or you go through master. It is a play called based off of the opportunity that they see themselves, especially late in the round. They keep things fresh by calling a sporadic rush, and the whole point that I want you guys to see is that everybody on the team attacked red, everybody on one page. And that's something that we just haven't seen during the regular stage from OXG. And now there's so many rounds that I could have picked from, but that one was just the best example to show you that once they call something, everybody's listening, everybody's focusing on it, and they make it happen.
As for their opponent, CL for Life, I mean, what more can we possibly say about them? This is the dream run for them. They have looked on fine form. They are incredibly dangerous, and I hope Oxygen knows that.
I mean, this is the Cinderella run. This is where it starts now. I mean, the commentators talked about it yesterday. The casters, they said they already broke a record here. As of 2 years, a Challenger League team has not beaten a Pro League team in an LCQ. They are now sitting in the grand final, and that is solely due to the fact that they have the drive, they have the passion, they have everything in what it takes to not only be a Pro League team, to be a top competing team, possibly going to Montreal. I mean, we saw it in that last performance against them, especially in this map on Border. It was nothing but aggression. Wildcard could not handle this aggressive play from them, and this is what was a scary thing that this team has. But then we transitioned over into Skyscraper, which was Wildcard's map. They were strong on it. We did see a different team. But then we looked at the last map. Like I said, they changed the tempo of how they played this. They got aggressive when they needed to aggressive. They played passive when they needed to play passive. They understood the dynamic and how they wanted to approach that game. And this is a true result and a true testament of this team. Since September 7th, when they started their qualifier run, they have played a total of 252 rounds in 23 maps, where on the opposing side, of Oxygen, starting their stage September 5th, they have only played 13 maps with 150 rounds. So when you want to talk about that passion, when you want to talk about the drive, when you want to talk about the sheer resilience of this team and how they want to get this done, they have proved it on every single level since the start of their qualifier run up until this point.
I mean, that's just a ton of playtime, like a ton of experience as well for that team. A really good opportunity, obviously not against tier 1 talent, but an opportunity for them to hone their craft, to figure out where they want to go, what maps they want to play, how they want to play. I love that stat, actually. I think that's an absolutely fascinating comparison.
Yeah, I think the X factor here for CL4 Life is that they can kind of go anywhere. So at this point, it's up to OXG on what they want to pick, their comfortability, where they want to go. I think picking up Lair is a map that OXG has been very comfortable on playing recently, especially throughout LCQ. So it makes perfect sense. They take a good map for them. CL4 Life is going to take another good map for themselves. So it's just mutual respect when it comes to the map bans, just going to the even playing field. And that's what I like about CL4 Life is they are taking teams to their best map. They're not trying to win based off of just maps. They're trying to win based off being the best team. Now, the one edge that CL4 Life has going into this game is OXG. So far, they have been struggling a little bit when it comes to the utility game, but when it comes to in the server gunfights, that is where OXG has been firing on all cylinders, but that is exactly where CL4 Life wants teams to take them, is to that gunfight department, because that's the most level playing field that they have going into the match.
Yeah, I am curious to see on this Lair map. Obviously, they have the VODs on Oxygen and see how well they play it. And that aggressive playstyle I am expecting to see here that we saw similar onto that border map. And if Oxygen, I mean, they like the gunfights. We've talked about through this entire stage. They like taking these gunfights. They like these 1v1s, these 2v2s. So it is going to be a true testament for these guys to be able to do that, because even when Cloud9, Beast Coast, or Wildcard, they don't have that same aggressive playstyle that Oxygen has known throughout in terms of all 5 individual players here. But again, now you look at that second map, which I believe, what was that second map? It was Consulate. Yeah, Oxygen hasn't looked too strong on Consulate, to be fair. So that's no surprise to me that we're going to see that coming out of Challenger League for Life. But that Clubhouse, both teams, more so I'd say for Challenger League for Life, they at least want to make it to that third map, just solely due to the fact that, again, that is a very default map. And like we've said, if you're better than a team, you don't want to bring a team to that map. So the fact that that is the decider, it is simply going to come down to sheer mistakes, and who makes far less mistakes will be walking away if we get to that third map and punching their ticket to Montreal.
And now we are both picking OXG because I think in any situation like this, you have to pick the Pro League team. I mean, we did it 2 times before, and CL4 Life has upset us 2 times in a row, but OXG has looked a lot more alive, so I feel confident in putting my eggs in the OXG basket. That being said, I think every fan at heart wants to see the underdog story, go through.
Yeah. I think that would be amazing, but I'm going to ask one more brief question. You're both pros. I know that you've experienced situations that are very stressful, intense. Is it going to be a problem that Oxygen has not played for such a long time period now? Or, on the other hand, is it going to be a problem that CL4 Life has played such an intense match and had only 12 minutes to catch their breath?
I'll let Fox answer that. And then
I mean, it can go both ways, because OXG has been sitting, but they've been gathering footage, but at the same time, they have been cold. So it could go both ways. Same thing for CL4 Life. You could say they're warmed up if they're winning, but if they're losing, then you could say they used all their gas. I mean, at the end of the day, it's really just going to come down to the mental of both of the teams, because at the end of the day, if you want to be the best, it doesn't matter what situation you're in, what map you're in, you have to come out on top.
I mean, the fact of the matter, you want to look at Oxygen, they're all experienced pro players. They've all competed at majors outside of HAT. They know what it's like to either start fresh or start hot. So these guys should be extremely familiar with this situation. And because of that and everything else, I just have to choose Oxygen just solely because of the in-depth experience.
Well, let me send it to 2 casters that I have the privilege of working with. Happy to see them here. It's Jonah and Flynn.
Well, thanks, Korbeck. This one, well, the moment I think we've all been waiting for, Flynn. As cliche as that is, it is very true, because we have one more team to join the North American representation at the Montreal Major, and it's going to be one of the 2 teams we have in front of us now. It is either going to be OXG, who come off a rough stage, or CL4 Life, who come out of the open qualifiers, then the open qualifier playoffs, and now, after 2 best of 3s, they have a chance to make international competition for the first time. It would be an incredible underdog story for this roster coming in, not having played in the closed league, here from the trenches of T2 for the most part, to take down OXG, riding high after that win against Wildcard Flynn. But we said it on that cast, Parker and I. We said that was not just the main course. That was just an appetizer. I'd go so far as to say that wasn't even the appetizer. That was just the amuse-bouche, because Oxygen, they've been waiting in the wings, watching it happen. They're prepped, they're well-rested, and they're ready to take this fight to CL4 Life on their map pick of Lair.
Well, we were following the script, honestly, for operator bans until we got to Oxygen's defensive ban. They opt to remove the Vigil, which is certainly an operator you could remove from play. Obviously, getting rid of the possibility of a Boss G on defense, which has been wreaking havoc more and more as each day passes. But for Oxygen starting on the attack on their own map pick of Lair, they seem to have some troubles with Vigil. They opt to completely remove him from play. Yazami getting banned out, a little more standard, but we get to see the defense for CL4 Life begin their journey towards the Montreal Major. Upstairs, Master Office and R6 room to begin things. And again, like Lax said, if you had showed people the bracket beforehand, I don't think anyone would have believed you. I think they would have thought it was AI generated, and yet here we stand with no matter who ends up winning this series and going to Montreal, it will be considered an upset. I do agree, though, that there's probably a large contingent of fans out there hoping for the Tier 2 team to make it, hoping for the complete Cinderella story to go to the Major. I will say, though, I've been very impressed with Oxygen's play so far, and for them to pull off the run to also end up winning in the grand final and going to Montreal, I think would be very, very impressive in its own right.
Well, those are two things we didn't expect to be saying coming into this LCQ. One is really impressed with what Oxygen have been doing so far, because man, they did not have a great stage. And on the other side, CL4 Life, we did not expect to be saying their name this far into the last chance qualifier. We know how impressive these players can be. Obviously, Packer and Adam, we've seen them at the T1 level, albeit briefly. But this team as a whole, they are capable players, but have not been in a situation of this significance before. Never in a situation to play for an international event, of course. So here on Lair, this is their opponent's map pick, but of course a chance to set the tone as they will be the ones on the defense. They will see what they can do to stop OXG from making their way in and slow them down, whatever this attack may bring.
You can see some similarities coming out in the previous best of 3 for CL4 Life up against Wildcard, where attacking philosophies seem to mirror a lot of what Oxygen was bringing in the Nighthaven Labs matchup from our first series of the evening, in which Oxygen was victorious, and now Giddy will get the opener onto Yaga. So the buck removed from play, no more discomfort felt at the feet of the defenders, courtesy of the skeleton key. Packer as well, roaming around downstairs, trying to apply pressure to anyone else who will try and linger below and dissuade anchors from holding power positions. Nonetheless, we're waiting on Gomez to get the breach going, and Newers sounds like a one-tap onto Tristan Bovino. Reads the swing from Gomez. Diaz now taking damage, but Newers, a double on the round. Beginning to wreak havoc with the 417. Now on 5 HP, Giddy has nowhere to go. Hat cleans up. And now it's Newers taking damage, and Hat on the periphery of the bomb site. Newers, give him 3 on the round now. The shotgun turns the corner from Adam. He throws out the smoke in response. It'll start choking out Diaz. He'll have to back off. 1v2 for Adam to try and retake the bomb site that he has surrendered. Newers with 3 on the round, recovers the diffuser and begins to put the plant down. Now the coverage being assessed by Diaz. Air jab at the door for Adam to contend with. Peering into the bomb site, but he hits the air jab. They will know his position. Damage done, but no headshots hit as of yet. Jiggle peeking the corner, trying to hit a headshot at range. The SMG-11 against a heavy-hitting DMR and an ARX. Last smoke grenade goes out from Adam to cut off visibility from one side to try and disrupt the crossfire that's being established by Oxygen, but it's Newers with the 4K and the plant to put an exclamation point on round number 1.
Yeah, talk about a way to start off a map, getting 4 and making it look easy while doing it. Lair, that site, I mean, so heavily depends on your ability to take control of what we frequently say, right? That mezzanine position, a place that can get very hairy for attacking teams because you got to worry about, well, the doorway to your left, the 2 walls to your left, and this position that you see Bino in right now, holding that angle from the protection of the hard wall, from the protection of mezzanine itself, but eventually able to overcome it. Oxygen took control of that position, and then the site as a result. Great use of the utility. The Grim Bees were very effective at identifying the position of that player and forcing them to retreat, forcing them to back off and not be in a position where they could maintain the crossfire, prevent that team from stepping up into the site and actually getting that diffuser down. So exactly the way you want to start if you're Oxygen, as it is your map pick. You want to get as many of these rounds as you can right out of the gate. I mean, that's how they were able to be so successful against M80, especially on that second map where they cleaned up shop. But here against CL for Life, we talked about momentum and how important that could be for this T2 team coming in with a big win in that semifinal round. But to start, Oxygen will stop CL for Life from getting any of that momentum to continue.
Oxygen looking to carry over some pretty successful attacks we saw earlier this evening in their first series to wind up here in the grand final. CL for Life, they've been quite aggressive on the defensive side. The majority of the map played so far looking to take the fight to any opponent who tries to enter into their purview. And Yaga, outside of the display window, might make first contact with the bathroom window. But for the time being, Selma's come out onto the dorm's wall. That would be the first breach opened up with no intervention being made by CL4L on the defense. You can see there's 4 attackers all stacked outside of the breach. For Oxygen, they will now disperse as they've completed #1 objective on their checklist, which was facilitating the breach into dorms. Now everyone else is going to have to try and rotate around the map and push anyone from holding above, as we see so much verticality employed on this bomb site specifically. And you can see there's not much of a ceiling left above bunks. Not much of a coverage for a plant to be attempted. So, lots of work left to be done here for Oxygen, and Gomez will begin that with the clutch drone in the middle of the bomb site.
Yeah, one of those important steps in dealing with utility is, well, in some cases, stealing some of that, getting yourself an additional information, taking over those cameras, making sure that CL for Life do not have any additional, well, idea of what's going on down below on the site. What makes this top hold so strong is that if they can identify where that diffuser going down, all it takes is a few bullets, maybe a little explosive power to shut down the diffuser before it can successfully hit the floor. In this case, you also see them holding these angles on the breach. They don't even want to let this team walk into the site.
And being attempted now. Bino from up above. He's able to get the coverage of Gomez, and finally Adam, in the dying moments, is able to hit the headshot onto Hat and put the diffuser on the ground. Yaga now recovering, as we did see vertical smokes coming out and horizontal smokes deeper into the bomb site coming out from Yaga, with the Capitão's Bolt's specific ability being able to send those smokes skyward. Now holding off on the flank, being attempted by Giddy, but no, Newers turns away at the most inopportune moment. Now Packer whipping out a shotgun, ready to turn down the corridor. But here comes that flank, and it's read well by Giddy. Nice pre-aim onto Newers' head, and now the shotgun at the end of the hallway. It's going to dissuade Diaz from trudging any further along the top of the green stairs. Instead, he will descend. Yaga, though, picks up Giddy, so the diffuser inside of the bomb site, recoverable for the time being, but time ticking away and very low health at the disposal of Diaz, who will be picked apart by Tristan. It's just Diaz left alone, and Adam on the response inside of the bomb site will reject the entry overall, and CL for Life, they've leveled the score once again.
And a great display of exactly what you want your defense to look like when it involves holding 2 floors at the same time. We talk a lot about this on sites that depend on that top floor extension. On pretty much every map in the game, there's something like that emerges. Maintaining that map control, not just by sticking yourself on the site, not just by running around the map and doing what you can there, but instead by holding a bit of utility up above and making sure those players cannot step into the site or get that diffuser down. CL for Life, they did that incredibly well, not just by staffing that top floor position, but by having the wherewithal to make sure there were 1 or 2 defenders still on that bottom site to defend it if those top floor players didn't have an angle. We also see that as a common pitfall on sites like that. If you're holding those angles so fast up above, maybe you miss your chance. Maybe the attacker runs past your line of sight, and all of a sudden you're left panicking in a post plant. Instead, CL for Life, I mean, they got every kill they needed to shut that down. And when it came down to it, it was a player on that bottom floor to get a kill onto the attackers down there that actually ended things in round number 2. So an early back and forth, and CL for Life, they get on the board.
We once again see Oxygen, much like we saw from them on Nighthaven Labs. Strict refusal, honestly, to go for a full map clear. Really trying to employ as much site direct pressure as possible and avoid attempting clearing out some of these offsite holds. And it's worked pretty well for them on a map like Nighthaven Labs. On a top floor defense like this, there's not going to be much of the contingent of the defense away from the bomb site itself. That's why you can see Oxygen being successful attacking onto this one. But for other bomb sites here, CL4L are definitely going to be utilizing some verticality that's going to trip up Oxygen here and there. They're going to continue to have to adapt and try and find new ways and get creative if they don't want to actually face the brunt of the hold head-on on the opposite floor. They want to continue to push directly into the objective itself and try to brute force the plants. They're going to have to continue to invent ways of disrupting the vision from up above and removing the utility from play that CL4L will utilize to try and deny the plant attempt. A walk into operations, though, for the top floor defense being reattempted for CL for Life does mean that we're going to have to evacuate mezzanine once again. CL for Life were originally attempting to contest this position. Instead, they will fall all the way back to the top of the main stairs and make sure they keep themselves alive later into the round.
Yaga, skeleton key ready. Waiting for maybe some information to act off of here. We like to see Oxygen making sure they do their due diligence before actually making the move. Opens it up right in time, but Giddy will not fall victim to it just yet. He backs away from the wall, knows that this is a risky position to now attempt a bandit trick, so he will smartly fall off. The Selmas, as a result, now get to detonate on the wall, and this is exactly how you make good early progress from Oxygen. First of all, recognizing that Giddy was there and needed to be dealt with, and then taking the active steps to dealing with it. Giddy, of course, still alive, but the utility of his circumvented. We mentioned the importance of that mezzanine position before, and was part of the reason why Oxygen were able to win this attack on this site last time they were here. This time, they seem to have already taken most of the control they needed on that side. So Gomez is seeing what he can do on the other side. He's given the diffuser to Hat, keeping it over on that mezzanine side of the map as, well, this attack gets ready to go. The flashes come in, and Bino, you see him dropping back.
Everyone for CL for Life having to vacate the position, but it's Giddy who gets the opener. Lots of chip damage done to OXG attackers, but Yaga on 46 health is able to persist. Gomez on that flank through storage, able to pick up another one onto Tristan, but the Nitro Cell comes in from Packer. It detonates post-mortem, but it puts the diffuser on the floor. Yaga scrambling to recover the diffuser and put it down, and he cannot put the diffuser on the floor to extend the round timer. The clock strikes midnight and CL for Life. They pick up back-to-back defensive rounds.
Sometimes one piece of utility is the difference, but that time it wasn't subtle. It wasn't a, oh, was that just one camera that changed the whole round? No, it was a Nitro Cell right in their face that shut down the plant before it could get completed. In a round that was looking like Oxygen were about to take the advantage, maintain it, and get it into a post-plant. Well, a perfectly placed Nitro Cell shakes that up and keeps CL for Life in the lead. Now, it looks like they're the team here to take attack timeout, which is a bit unexpected early on in this game, especially given that they have the lead. But when you look at the results they've had on this map in the past, they struggled here yesterday against C9BC in a map that they would eventually win, or rather, a series that they would eventually win. This was the map that gave them the most trouble, only able to get one successful defensive win under their belt before the match ended. This time, maybe hoping to talk things over before they head back and see what they can improve.
There we go. Like you said, tack timeout coming out somewhat early here for CL for Life. I think realistically, it's an opportunity for CL for Life after being victorious on back-to-back defenses to assess what the game plan is for Lair in terms of the tertiary bomb site. We've seen some armory, and we've seen less and less of the basement bomb site in recent days as comparison to the early days of Lair coming in at the beginning of Stage 2. There were quite a few Labs defenses being brought downstairs, but nowadays they're a little more rare. I think CL4L, all they do, they do narrowly escape that round and come away with the victory topside. They still have some difficult choices to be made, and this bomb site has become a lot weaker as teams have identified the ability to push in from any direction that is unguarded onto the bomb site, especially if there is a roam being employed by the defense. It just leaves the bomb site itself way too vulnerable, and a lot of picks are given up on the bomb site, forcing the retreat of defenders who are then cut on rotations. Becomes a bit of a nightmare. So we'll see CL4L not employ much of a roam, not attempting really to control much of the map beyond the basement, which is also going to give Oxygen free reign on the top 2 floors to employ as much soft destruction as they can. They've got the Buck, they've got the Ram, they've also got Yaga back on the Blitz, so this could be a very precarious round for CL4L.
Yeah, they'll have to watch out for that explosivity of the attack, right? You have the Blitz at any time can step up, get in your face, and make things very difficult. Of course, Packer, as the Warden, won't have as tough of a time dealing with that flash shield, but it'll still be a problem for this team if Oxygen choose to spring into action here. Of course, they're going to do their due diligence first, and soft destruction is going to be one of those steps on that checklist between Newers and Gomez, the skeleton key and the boogie drone. You bet that they absolutely have enough utility to do it. It still does take some time, though, and they still had to work their way in through the top floor of this map, actually get the space, and realize that it was clear before eventually making this move. Any kill they find here would be a nice bonus. You can maybe spot out those defenders down below, catch them unaware, and find that kill. But realistically, CL4L are going to be repositioning here, avoiding these angles. The biggest danger is walking into other angles that Oxygen may be looking to hold. Of course, we said the Blitz is a factor. Yaga, a very important factor for CL4L to think about. And as this rotation begins and Hat and Yaga shift down below, well, this attack may get underway just as soon if this wall can get opened. Looks like Hat, well, that's his task next.
He's going to have to contend with the Zoto canisters, and you can see with the information being gathered by the CL4L defense with the Valkyrie cameras and 4 nitro cells in the back pocket, pretty clear to see what the game plan was for this round. But none of these nitro cells have gone soaring or connected onto any intended targets as of yet. Red ping's coming out upstairs, up to the hatch. So that's definitely for some Valkyrie camera intel. It's being relayed to the rest of the team. You can hear nitro cells being ripped. Packer holds one in his hands, waiting for the plant to be attempted, but Hat, he'll get the opener with 20 seconds left in the round. He's able to find the opening pick and try and facilitate Yaga, going for the plant on the Blitz. He's now being frozen out by the 2 Barao Zotos, so escape is near impossible, and now Adam will be able to use the first nitro cell. Diaz trades out Bino, and yet again we have Hat. There we go. Finally able to put the diffuser on the ground. The nitro cell, it does not detonate, but Adam's still able to spring up and utilize the sidearm to put the round to finishing times. It is CL4L, 3 straight defenses in a row.
Well, this is how you know this team is powering up and reaching a level that we did not think possible, based on not just what we know about this team, but what we're seeing from them in this LCQ. They played C9BC on this map just 1 day ago, and it did not look this good. The defense, they were only able to secure a single round. This time, well, they've already secured a third. Talk about a fantastic place to be on your opponent's map pick. On the desk, they addressed a classic question. Is the momentum that CL4L have coming into this game going to be better than the rest that Oxygen had, the break that Oxygen got between their first best of 3 and their second? CL4L, after all, are just coming off a 3-map thriller against Wildcard that came down to overtime on map 3. Sure, they're not running around on a field and getting exhausted in that sense, but it is incredibly fatiguing to be playing Cutthroat Siege for back-to-back-to-back maps, and then to do it again, potentially, for 3 more maps. That is a big ask. A truly difficult undertaking for CL4L, but right now they seem to be more than capable of doing that. Defense on layer right now, it's going well.
Going well indeed, and Oxygen is seemingly having some difficulties putting the plant down into the dire seconds. With consecutive rounds now, we've seen an attacker recover the diffuser inside the bomb site, and yet stare violently at the floor without getting a whole lot accomplished. I'm curious as to what's going on there with Oxygen, but one way to alleviate that number one concern is to escalate your time scale and try to amplify the tempo in the round. Try to get to the bomb site sooner and have a better setup to afford yourself more chances at that defusal attempt. But the Nitro Cell stacking coming out from CL4L in the previous round, and we see 2 return here with the aid of 2 bulletproof cameras. And now Gomez returning with the Brava Clutch drone. They did get a lot of work done the last time they attacked this specific bomb site. Worms is one of these opportunities where you can establish a crossfire from both inside and outside the building, and you can see the Clutch drone has already got to work, hacking away one of the Malusi Banshees. Exterior breach opened up, bulletproof camera in the exact same position as the previous time CL4L defended the site also hacked, but it's the top control that remained ever present the last time that this site was defended, and it will be the next obstacle for Oxygen to try and overcome.
All right, it's all about that vertical destruction. You see how much CL4L have done on their behalf, but are they maintaining those angles? That may be the operative question, because Oxygen, look at what they're doing right now. Sneaking into the site, trying to get the diffuser down. Hat 1 HP, and there he goes. Packer is able to clean him up. Bino and Tristan, they each get a kill as well. And down below, Oxygen tried to get something done, tried to surprise this defense, and boy, oh boy, did it miss its mark. Gomez still alive, downs Adam, meaning that this round is not over just yet. Single-handedly keeping this one an even fight, thanks to Newers as well. A 2v2. All of a sudden, CL4L, they had this control, they had the round almost buttoned up, but Gomez and Newers, their power has brought this game back to even. Keep an eye on this as well. Gomez rotating, Newers still down below. The diffuser is in Gomez's pocket here, so very much a possibility that he could try to get this down. The big question, can they avoid the sightline of the players above? Tristan gets taken down. A great shot from Gomez. Bino, now the only player left for CL4L. Good kill onto Gomez, though, finally dealing with that threat. Now it is Newers in this very uncomfortable 1v1. Has to look up through the floorboards above. None of these fights easy to take. Baits the defuse, gets off it and repositions for his final time. Bino waiting, dropping, and ending the round just like that. It got hairy, but CL4L win their 4th defensive round here on Lair.
Man, Oxygen talked about it in their first matchup this evening. It nearly came back around for OXG once again. The perseverance in the round, a 5v2 man deficit, to be able to pull back into the round and have it be up 2v1. But 9 HP, hitting the goo mine, dropping down to 5 HP, trying to enter in with the diffuser, was quite the insurmountable task for Oxygen. And then in the 1v1, well done by Bino to be able to play the clock. So OXG now taking their tack timeout after dropping 4 rounds in a row. The defensive side of Lair, which we do know should give CL4L a slight advantage, but this was Oxygen's map pick, which means that they were feeling pretty confident about their abilities to attack onto the map and play it as a whole. Seeing an Oxygen team so far that seems very unwilling to contend with an offsite hold and very much in tune with a site direct approach. Every single round right now is about avoiding as much top control or bottom control as possible and just getting into the bomb site, just trying to brute force the plant. And even in the midst of smoke, inside of the bunks, where there is that little cutout that you can plant in, the toes were exposed for long enough that they could be fired away by Packer above on the Warden, who could see through the smoke. As again, OXG, the necessity to continuously innovate on ways that they can go site direct, because we're not seeing an Oxygen that has any inclination to try and fight this head on upstairs. That they're going to continuously run into the objective to put the bomb down by any means necessary. And unfortunately, in that round, as well as previous rounds, it's cost them a lot of lives, and it's cost them a lot of utility. Now it's cost them a lot of rounds. Last round of the first half gets back underway. CL4L return for the 3rd time upstairs to Master Office in R6 room.
Well, a great spot for them to be, as we said. CL4L feeling that confidence that we've seen from them before, and a marked improvement over their performance on Lair yesterday. We'll keep saying it, but it is pretty significant because if this is the turnaround that we're seeing from this team on the very same map just one day later, well, what do you think is to come on map 2? What is Consulate potentially gonna...
Well, we'll have to wait and see what Consulate looks like potentially. This is OXG's map pick in the final round of the first half. We'll see if Oxygen can salvage the 4-2 half, but nonetheless, this is an opportunity for CL4L to continue to push the dagger in and be able to come away with a 5-1 lead at the side swap, which would be an opportunity. We're trying to decipher where Jonah went. I think he's gone again, so I think it's just me now. And I think right now, for Oxygen as well, the opportunity to slow things down and reassess the positions. They've attacked onto this bomb site twice. They've become very close to winning the attack onto this bomb site in consecutive attempts. They did win the first one, albeit through some individual heroics from the side of Newers. And then in the second round, if Yaga was able to initiate the plant and extend the timer past the zeros on the clock, then it would have been an okay. So I think right now, for an opportunity for CL4L, this is my opportunity to say good luck, Godspeed, as there is a blitz approaching once again. And Yaga has been quite the nuisance for every opponent he's run into this evening on the blitz. Hat, on the flip side, has not had as much success on the blitz, as that role has changed hands a few times. Surya Gate's getting burnt in the bathroom windows from the flashbangs, and outside of the display window, Hat will drop, not on the blitz, thankfully, on the Grim with the bees. You'll assess the positioning outside of Server. Diaz is the first one to fall, though, on his backside outside of the bathroom windows, potentially recoverable. As you can see, OXG ramping up the tempo and hoping to try and initiate a plant earlier on in the round. Newers able to turn the corner, but Tristan on the crouch angle is able to tear through him with the MK14, and Diaz still has yet to be recovered. Damage done from Hat as he pushes in, has control of the display window, looking into Server. Gomez as well cleans up onto Adams, so technically a 3v4. The Bees, they reveal Packer's position. He still commits to the swing, and Hat tears right through him, but at the cost of a majority of his health points, down to 18 HP as the man carrying the diffuser. 2 nitro cells still remain in the back pocket, and Diaz, man, he spent a majority of this round bleeding out outside of bathroom windows, and he gets revived back into the action. He hits the headshot onto Bino. Tristan on the response with the DMR ringing out of the bathroom hallway. Give him 3 on the round with the Mark 14. Giddy as well from within the bomb site, shuts down the advances of Yaga, and it is just Gomez trying his absolute hardest to push into Server, but there is nowhere to go. Call it 5 in a row for CL for life. And they will head to the attack up 5-1. An absolutely remarkable performance so far for CL for life. A Cinderella story for the ages that continues to march onwards with no end in sight. Oxygen have been a much improved team relative to their group stage performance through all of this LCQ. And unfortunately, on their own map pick, at least on the attacking side, things have not fared very well. They've already burnt their tack timeout. Now it's an opportunity to swap sides, get onto the defense, and see if you can mimic a little bit of what we saw from CL for life. And I am pretty sure that Jonah's back. Are you back? Oh, he's dead again. Okay, well, we tried. We tried. Okay, we're going to keep going. OXG on the defense. Top floor, Mask, and R6 room for their first defense. Packer getting off of the blitz, which I do think is interesting. Over to the glass for now. There's still plenty of swaps that can be made. For the last 2 seconds, we can see Oxygen immediately veering into a trap-heavy lineup. Capcan, Legion, Ella, Smoke, lots of opportunities to be able to disorient and also slow down your opponents as they make their entryways through the building. Sorry, I'm reading the chat about Jonah. He was back for a second. I said he was back, and then he immediately died again. So rest in peace to Jonah. As a great man named Parker and Taro Mackay once said, we must move past Jonah. There is no more Jonah. He is gone. You know, taking some early damage in an off-screen engagement. Now for CL for life, the ability to get on a roll here on the attacking side and put themselves on a match point on map number 1. It's the best of 3 with their own map pick of Consulate on the horizon as map number 2. Still plenty of time left in this ball game for Oxygen to get back in the driver's seat and take control, but it all starts with this defense and not allowing CL4L to press upon their advantage and get onto that match point scenario. It's the Glass coming out from Packer as he did swap off of that blitz for it. Nitro Cell comes out from Yaga, who attempted to deny the Ace Selma breach on the exterior wall into Mask. And now you can see everyone for CL4L a little hesitant to enter into the building. A lot of their designs and intentions are being disrupted by Oxygen's defense at the moment. Not a lot of control inside the building in a similar vein to what we saw from Oxygen's attacks. CL4L on the attacking side, not making a whole lot of early round progress. Hat will acquire the opener onto Adam as well, staring down the barrel of main stairs from the server hallway. But now we finally have someone traversing the dangers of Mezzanine. And it is Bino, who is able to utilize yet another Selma. And the last one will go out onto the interior wall from Mezzanine. Shots attempted, and finally Newers will be able to destroy the Selma. So no successful breach that is traversable into the bomb site. First Selma on the exterior wall was disrupted before it could detonate twice, which means you've got a peek hole from the outside that doesn't really give you a lot of visibility. No holes from the inside, and now really no map control. Giddy staring at the base of the main stairs. Capital Firebolts, though, this could be critical in being able to force defenders out of the position at the top of Mezzanine and being able to facilitate a push in towards the bomb site. The flames come out, but nobody taking any damage as of yet. Newer's still staring down the top of Mezzanine, and you hear the chorus of goo mines all entering Kitty's foot. He's got a third one that he shoots out, thankfully, but Newers, he hits the headshot all the same, sprinting down the corridor. Newers absolutely rejecting everyone on entry, whips out the super shorty, give him another 4K. It's a flawless round for Oxygen. Is he back?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
Jonah?
Hello?
Stop lying to me. He's not back. He's never coming back.
Check. Hello?
Stop lying to me, production. He's gone. Let him die. You hear him. Oh, I don't hear him. Jonah, are you alive? Is production lying to me for a fourth time?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Is your Discord muted? You're crazy. I'll be right back. Testing again. Hello.
Oh my God, you're back. There we go.
Incredible. Incredible. Okay, I'm going to say whatever I can in 10 seconds because my internet could drop out again at a moment's notice. But you've been killing it on the solo. You're killing it. You're in the trenches here, and it's going great. But
listen, it's
what
quarter
we're seeing
after
right
midnight.
now
We're having a time,
from
all right?
CL4L is absolutely absurd. We are having an absolute time. And, man, CL4L, I mean, this is the team. Thankfully, my data on my phone is still working, so I can have the feed up. Thankfully, I swear, I think I'm going to go out again. But they've been looking so clean, the energy that they are bringing right now, and Oxygen just have not been able to match it. Obviously, they get one back there, and that's big. And this has been an insane back and forth just to add to the chaos of the night. But, man, it is now getting down to the wire here as we get later into this map.
Well, welcome back, buddy. It's good to have you. It's nice to have a co-commentator, and honestly, it's been quite the time for Oxygen. They do respond, though, with a flawless round. Another 4K coming out from Newers, though it should be said that 8 of his 10 kills thus far have come in 2 rounds. Gomez attempts to swing with DCSG into Warehouse, but it's not even the broadside of a barn, as 2 attackers had their backs turned towards him, and yet no damage was done. And now Packer will refill the position as red pings come out onto Gomez in his position, and he'll retreat to lockers and try to get back to the bomb site as fast as possible. Trying to do a little bit of battle with Packer on that blitz, who sticks it this time, and see ya, dude. Well, Jonah's gone again. Packer's inside of lockers, and it's an opportunity for the blitz to have some success, but no, instead it's Gomez. Sidearm on sidearm action as Packer is able to hit the headshot. And this is an interesting one. Sorry, we are having a time with Jonah. Shotgun comes out in the hands of Giddy on the Deimos. Adam picking up a headshot onto Hat. Yaga, though, with one Packer rushing into the bomb site. Newers, he'll have to play the hero in consecutive rounds, and he does for one. Can he get them both down to 11 HP through the blind? But Packer is able to hit the ADS on the blitz and be able to collect match point for CL4L. It is so close in these rounds, and Newers nearly did it again, putting on his cape. But now it is match point 6-2 in favor of CL for life. And I think I have officially lost my co-caster for a prolonged period of time. Packer is dancing. Packer is celebrating the death of one Jonah J. Zwillinger. And I'm sorry, Jonah. I'm sorry you're gone. We must continue on. We must move beyond Jonah once again. I really thought Newers was going to get this, though. Even through the blind, I thought the sprays to the feet, one more shot into Packer's cankles, and that would have been lights out. Unfortunately, not. So, now we go back to bunks. I think we're trying to assemble someone to come and join me, so that it's not just me alone. See what happens. Once again, Dorm's defense coming out, this time from Oxygen, and we see quite the hefty top control being employed by OXG on the defensive side. CL for life on the attack will have to contend with a top control that they were very familiar with in employing on the defensive side, and we'll see if their attacking philosophy mimics what we saw out of Oxygen. And I think I do have a co-caster. Is it Foxe with me now?
Hello?
Hey, bud.
I mean, I know you can hear me here, but can the viewers at home hear me? That's the real question. We have me. Okay. All right. Well, nice of me to come in right when everything's getting hot, huh? I mean, you were doing most of the talking.
Yeah, we're having some fun here. We're having some technical difficulties. Once again, I am missing how Bino is taking some early damage in these rounds on the ace, but he's still been able to persevere. Whether it's Oxygen trying to employ spawn peek and take the hard breacher out of play, or whether it's some team damage being dealt, as we've seen in the past from some of the tier 2 teams in the LCQs. Nonetheless, he's still able to survive on the ace, keep the Selmas at hand, and I think this is going to be an opportunity now for Oxygen. Try and resettle in, gather some more momentum. And Foxe, they've been very good so far, Oxygen has, at being able to repel all of the aggression that CL4L have brought. How are we going to see the rest of this round play out for CL4L's attacks?
I mean, I don't know if good is, I think that's a little bit of an overstatement. I mean, they really only have gotten one round on their defense. And so far, I like how CL4 Life has slowed the pace down. They really want to make sure that they make it count. Pat's going to get the opening pick elsewhere on the map, and that is the Thatcher down, which can be a big of an issue because Yogg has been commendable on that bandit, but it looks like the push is going to come in off of the back of the blitz, slowly walking through the smoke to cover his play. And I'll let you take this one away, Flynn, for the play-by-play.
Absolutely. Here comes Packer rushing his way into server, and just the presence of the blitz is going to intimidate the defender from the Oxygen side to immediately peel off. Diaz, though, has not vacated the storage hallway. Here's the clanking of the blitz coming down the hallway, and Yaga will pick up Adam as well, and a double with the Nitro Cell. On to Tristan. Bino on 29 HP, rings out shots, but cannot connect. Packer on full health from up above. Can't really accomplish a whole lot as the blitz. So, the top control being faced head-on by the attacking side of CL for life, and instead, everyone for Oxygen. They get theirs, and they get the hell out of Dodge. Packer in the midst of the bomb site, carrying the diffuser, but on vision of the bulletproof camera that he will destroy. Attempting to go for the plant in the 2v4. It leaves Bino alone on 5 HP up above, trying to complete the round coverage. The plant is completed for Packer, and he goes for the ADS, hitting one. But 3 more bodies still stand on the defensive side of Oxygen, and they will hit the counter defuse. And for now, Oxygen, they stay alive on their map pick.
All right. Well, maybe what your original comment about them doing a lot better at staving off the attack is becoming a little bit more true round and round. I mean, OXG at the end there, that retake on the top floor, I mean, even though it was a 4v2 man advantage, OXG constantly identifying what the win condition is in the round And so far, they're going to need to keep doing that in the defenses if they want an opportunity to stay in it. Ooh, let's look at this shot. Wow. Wow. That was the opening kill. I mean, Oxygen on defense is obviously going to find a lot more value for the way that they play, just because on attack, they couldn't really get anything going. CL4L, especially on a map like Lair, was just so claustrophobic all over the map. And now Oxygen kind of changing up the tempo. They're making CL4L have to execute. And in that execute, they're losing bodies all over the map, all around the map. And there hasn't been a moment where CL4L on attack is able to isolate one individual person from Oxygen. And if they want a chance to be able to close this map out, they have to be able to start there. Focus on to where the individuals are from Oxygen, split them off from the rest of the map, and take them out one by one. Because so far, Oxygen is doing a really good job at keeping away until it's too late.
Well, now the opportunity persists for Packer on the blitz to be the instigator, and for Oxygen on the defense, like you said, to be able to gather some momentum and really bring this one back. We've seen them time and time again, especially in their first series of the evening, be able to persevere and persist and survive amidst the most challenging of circumstances, and yet here they find themselves in the grand final. Not the greatest of positions of all time, being down 6-3 on your own map pick, but it's better than 6-2. Oxygen just need to take this one round at a time to get back into it. For CL4L on the attacking side, they will be attacking the top floor bomb site this time around, which we've seen lots of aggressive play against and be pretty successful so far. I think right now for the side of Oxygen, this is an opportunity to continue to repel any entry through the bathroom and display window side. There hasn't really been a whole lot of storage side takes other than one round where Gomez hit the back flank.
Absolutely, but one key difference here is we don't have the Thatcher on the board. Oh, but the Thatcher in the previous round, which is Giddy, gets the opening kill onto a roaming Newers, and that's going to alleviate some pressure so that they can use the verticality to get rid of this mirror from below. And that's what they needed to do because they don't have the Thatcher. And now this is where the Bandit is going to be so pivotal because these walls are arguably the most difficult to get open. But CL4L understood that the previous round that they attacked on this, the shield is what stopped them. So now Oxygen, going one step further to adapt, is bringing the Bandit to deny the wall so that if they lose this shield, which we just saw the Flores get rid of it, now you have the Bandit tucked in the corner. There's nothing for CL4L that can get the electrified Bandit wire off the wall. And so now CL4L is stuck in a standstill where they have to find out if they're going to use the verticality or go for a play on the other side of the map. And it looks like that's going to start.
Well, Hat's going to level the man count onto Giddy again. Multiple attackers trying to push their way up the main stairs. And just at a moment's notice, Hat is able to escape into server. Tristan, though, will pick up Yaga. Shots ring out from the top of Mezzanine, but they will not connect. And the Shield of Packers absorbing plenty of focus and damage from the side of Oxygen's defense. It's a man disadvantage for OXG with their back against the wall on match point, just trying to survive a little bit longer on their own map pick. The Flash Shield, it's still standing directly in the middle of the server hallway, but Bino with another one onto Hat. The spray comes out. Adam collects from inside a bathroom. It's just Gomez alone. There's a blitz in his face. Somehow the blitz gets down, but Tristan has the coverage, and CL4L steal away Oxygen's map pick of Lair. They win it 7-3.
Wow, what a game from CL4L. I mean, the little engine that could, the dark horse for T2, they played phenomenally well, keeping Oxygen at their limits, constantly shutting them down, opening kill after opening kill. Honestly, very impressive run from them, but they haven't cashed their ticket yet. There's still a long ways to go. Still a lot of maps to be played, Flynn.
Well, it's one map down, 2 maps to go potentially. Oxygen, they lose the opening map, and now CL4L are 1 map away. We'll hear from you, Foxe, and the rest of the desk after this break.
Reset. No, display.
Both display.
Stay up. We're getting the bomb. 50.
Yeah, he's on me,
75.
Literally on me flash.
Oh my god,
Fuck
I
you.
shit on that guy.
Tristan,
I
you just
just
fucking
oh
shit
my-
on that fucking bandit, bro. Oh.
I mean, all I'm gonna say is I killed Newer, so it's like 3 kills right there.
Guys, just
One
another
more.
day in the office.
Just another day. Just another
Oh, good,
day.
Reset, bro. Tristan, you are so fucking good, bro.
Just another day. That's the words there at the end of that. I mean, is it though? You just took out Oxygen 7-3 on Lair. It's well past midnight on the East Coast, so I guess technically it is another day. I mean, I'll be honest with you, gentlemen. I do not have the seat smarts to tell folks what's going on, other than there just feels like there's a whiff of destiny around this CL for Life team. They're just unstoppable right now.
Yeah, I mean, it almost feels written in the stars. And of course, I mean, saying it's just another day. I mean, Bodega, you hear in the background, obviously a coach that has taken a ragtag group of players on previous exit and brought them to majors. Now he's taking the #1 CL team and trying to take them to another major. So he's done it in the past. And you may be scratching your head and thinking to yourself, how is this possible? And that's how. Good coaching with great talent. And what do you get? You get a team that has been an unstoppable force, constantly getting opening pick, constantly playing the positions and the situations correctly. Every one of these highlights from CL4L was a masterclass, just being able to rack up that lead on defense by constantly pressuring OXG, not letting them inside the map without a fight, not letting them inside a map without an opening kill. And they had the round the whole time. Of course, you know, got a little sloppy. They slowed it down as OXG started mounting a comeback, and they closed it out. No pressure, pure discipline from a pro league caliber team. Hopefully they get there one day.
I mean, I'm honestly at a loss for words right now with how well Challenger League for Life has just been playing. I mean, they have been playing tremendously with every single game that we've been seeing. They keep improving for that matter. I mean, I already talked about in the beginning that they've already played 23 maps, now 24 maps, but still 252 rounds overall from this team, and they just are not letting their foot off the gas. I was curious, you know, do they still have anything left in the tank? And they absolutely do. To take it to Oxygen's map, winning 7-3, going up 6-2, closing out even in that last round. I just want to highlight Packer, how well Packer has been playing on that blitz, just taking so much attention away from these defenders in that last round, never knowing when he's going to aggress upon them, and then allowing his team to slowly edge forward and catching these opponents off guard, over rotating, forcing them out of position, and then they all just getting aggressive on a simple count of a 3-2-1. I mean, this team should be in Pro League. You know, they have made me put my foot in my mouth as of yesterday when I was saying, well, they aren't fully a Pro League team yet. No, they have been putting up a performance that would say otherwise. Their individual prowess as players, these guys should be in Pro League. There's no doubt about it. And now we're going to their map of Consulate, where Oxygen has not looked great. And we've talked about it in that game against SSG that they lost to in that 7-5. It was solely just based off gunfights. That's all Oxygen was able to do. But now going into this map, they are going to have to be showing a lot more than what we just saw on their Lair map.
Yeah, a little bit of a bittersweet first map from OXG. They've been playing so good, and I hope that doesn't affect their mental game. Obviously, big performer, player of the game was Newers with the most amount of kills, but unfortunately, the rest of the team is just lacking a little bit behind him. I mean, he's been putting up such a performance at getting OXG into these rounds. He's been really playing above the most, and we talked about it with OXG since yesterday. What they need to do, what they need to do to be better. And it was Yogg being at the top. We highlighted him, staying at a good consistent to be able to do his job. And so far, they just haven't been able to keep up with the gunplay from CL4 Life, the trade game from CL4 Life. And if it doesn't come down to a nice little pixel peek or a shot, more often than not, OXG is getting overwhelmed by CL4 Life, and specifically that blitz that you talked about. And on a map like Consulate, you can absolutely abuse shields. You can absolutely take advantage of the Monty or the blitz, abusing the yellow stairs, abusing connector, and those situations. OXG, I mean, not to be the bearer of bad news, but Consulate's not a map that they're too comfortable on. I remember playing against OXG on Consulate with my pickup team for qualifiers a couple months ago, and we almost beat them on there. And we were just a pickup team of casters and ex-players. So it puts you in a situation where if OXG hasn't brought a whole new bag of tricks, they could get overwhelmed. This is a map that thrives for good, aggressive players. And so far, CL4L has the advantage there.
Yeah, and I think that was showing us too. I mean, Lair was Oxygen's map pick. So obviously CL for Life feel comfortable taking them to Consulate. I mean, even on that last round, we saw kind of, you know, Blitz just being such a thorn in their side. I'm genuinely worried for Oxygen. I don't know what they can do at this point in time going into a map like this to stop this steamroller. I feel like it is truly CL's game to lose.
It's really just a mental reset at this point. We did see it in the last matchup with Wildcard and Challenger League for Life is, you know, both teams immediately once it pivoted into a different map were winning their outright maps or winning their opponent maps. I can maybe see that here, but again, that really does come down to Oxygen finding their footing, being able to work together and being able to stop the aggressive plays, and kind of similar to what Wildcard was doing and understanding that CL for Life wants to get aggressive. They want to take these gunfights.
Yes.
So this is where Oxygen needs to slow down, take a breather, let CL for Life make that mistake, over-aggress, take advantage of it, take up the round count, take the man advantage, and keep trickling that down. But if they can't do that and they can't seem to change their tempo, they are going to lose this outright, and it's going to be CL for Life clenching their spot to Montreal.
Well, this could be it, folks. Here, potentially the last map to be played in NAL Stage 2. Oxygen back to the wall. Let me turn it over to your two casters, Jonah and Flynn, for the call.
Thank you, Corbeck. And yeah, it's... you jumped in the camera. Yeah, it's definitely me, and we'll see how long Jonah lasts. Welcome in to map number 2, CL for Life. Like the desk mentioned, this feels like it's written in the stars. This feels like it is destiny, and that this is CL4L's time to shine in the spotlight. Oxygen, they lose their own map pick of Lair 7-3, and as Fox talked about as well, they've demonstrated some weakness on this map in prior games, especially to pick up stacks, although it was a similar scenario in EU with Fresh and Friends having some very competitive games against T1 teams, and those T1 teams, they're still tier 1, they still exist. We'll see what progresses and transpires here. Hello, Jonah. How are you doing? Are you alive?
I'm doing great. I'm doing so great, man. Listen, it's crazy because I really want to cast this game. A T2 team having a chance to beat Oxygen and go to the major. How do you not love that storyline? And I want to be here for it, but my internet in my entire neighborhood is once again just not working. So hopefully it stays up this time. I will ask, can we get some W's in the chat? W Flynn. You know, you never ask for a W, but let's get some W Flynns for soloing the majority of that last map, it felt like, and for potentially some upcoming rounds if my internet goes out again. I really appreciate it, man. Covering there, Fox A sliding in there to jump in on the action, but hopefully we stay up on Consulate because this is a huge moment for CL for Life. A chance now on their own map pick to put this game reach into winning their opponent's map pick, winning Lair, a map they fumbled on yesterday, is just so impressive. The way they did it, 7-3. It's exactly the way you want to start the night. I love what we saw from them here. This map, it also has a good amount of similarities to Lair. CL for Life, they are really set up well. Great position for them to be in now as they head into what could be the map that gets them to Montreal.
Well, I appreciate the kind words, Jonah, but Parker has mandated that no one is ever allowed to say anything nice about me ever in any Twitch chat.
You're right.
Dealing with Rainbow Six. So we're going to turn those W's into L's real quick, or Parker will return and be very upset. Speaking of someone who might be upset, it might be the side of Oxygen as a whole. They've been pretty mellow throughout this LCQ. Like I said, they've been put into some precarious situations in rounds, and yet they have persevered and shown, honestly, a willingness to survive that we did not see through the group stage. Just a whole new team and a whole new ethos when it comes to Oxygen here post-group stage disaster. Now we see them on Consulate. They will be on the defense. This is CL for Life's map pick, but like the desk touched on, lots of opportunities to make some fun plays. Packer initially showing the blitz, seeming to replicate the performance of Lair, but instead he gets onto the Nook. He's immediately to the top of the spiral stairs, evading the purview of any of the cameras that will be left standing behind him, and nobody's walked in front of him at long desk as of yet. And now the idle shell, it gets picked up, and they have no idea where Packer is, and he nearly gets 2! Puts Gomez's first shell down to 8 HP, Thankfully, he will be able to transfer to the other shell and restore some of that health, should he want to. But for the time being, Packer making his presence felt at the top of the spiral stairs.
Well, Giddy looking to make it happen here on the admin side as CL4L will continue to try to make their entry. But on the other side, right, we've seen this defense, at least so far, able to stop the pressure. Packer, he was able to get the one, but then it was eventually denied. You see Gomez, of course, playing that scope bow, so he has the ability to quickly rotate back to the site. You see that shell up above. Once he feels the pressure, maybe it's a little too much, or simply maybe the time gets nice and low, and he wants to be on the site to deny the execute. That's what the Scopos is all about. So watch out for Gomez to do that in just a bit. For now, your eyes should remain on CL4L because they still have a good bit of work to do here. So they'll actually have to get into the building and make the move, and they will successfully at that. Dealing with Ya, that's Tristan who claims the kill.
Tristan able to tack onto the advantage, and even though Gomez's idle shell was dropped to 8 HP, he has returned to the position where he had his first engagement with Packer, but with the second shell this time around, so he's restored to 110 health. Still holding the mantle of Long Desk, making sure that this admin push coming out from CL4L is not successful at garnering any more foothold in towards the bomb site of the meeting. Flores Rotero drones coming out now, as most of this desk is ripped wide open, and Gomez will catch the Rotero, a normal drone though at his feet, relaying intel to the rest of the CL4L attack. And now the Deimos death mark coming out. Gomez stands still, now doing battle at the top of the spiral stairs once again. Another attacker is reached, and this time it's Adam pushing forward. Tristan emerges from the top of yellow stairs and claims another life. It is just Diaz alone against 4, and he cannot get even 1. CL4L, they continue the rampage of destiny. They are up 1-0.
This is unbelievable right now, what we're seeing from CL4L. We said that coming into the game, and we are seeing it again here. But I want to take a quick deep dive into the annals of Siege history. Not too far back, in fact, just to the beginning of this season. Before Stage 2 began, well, a special tournament was run for the first time called a Wildcard Restart. This was Jacob's off-season tournament, just with some wildcard branding behind it this time. But we actually saw these two teams play one another. Flynn, you and I actually had the privilege of casting that game. Again, the context. Off-season tournament, you don't want to reveal too much for the upcoming stage if you're Oxygen, but important to note the circumstances because not only did these two teams play each other, but at the time known as Makers, CL4L, they won that game. Same rosters on both sides, but they won it on a combination of 3 maps, Bank, Skyscraper, and Consulate, losing Bank, but then winning Skyscraper, winning Consulate. So here we sit on Consulate again, the same matchup between these two teams, but the stakes as high as they've ever been. A spot for the major on the line. This is no off-season tournament. This is a T2 team coming in with a chance to dethrone a team who has looked hot so far in the last chance qualifier, and a team also looking in Oxygen to return to the international stage for the first time in 2 years. Big moment here for both of these teams. But through this very first round, already like what we're seeing from CL4L.
We saw on map number 1 on Lair, the Vigil ban coming out from Oxygen. And this time around, they opt to remove the Ying from play, returning to a sense of normalcy as CL4L have been hard stuck banning the Montaigne seemingly every map they've played through this LCQ. The Vigil this time around, even though that Gomez has it in his hands with a Boss G at his availability, he cannot be successful on the projector balcony run out. Instead, he gets shut down. Now the opportunity continues for CL4L to progress through the building without as much resistance and without any fear of a potential flank from a Vigil they could not cordon down. Deathmark comes out from Giddy to assess the positioning of Newers, but you can see on the bottom left side of your screen that there are 4 Bs in front of everyone on OXG's name, meaning that everyone has retreated to the basement for Oxygen. With the midway point of the round, everyone for CL4L will have free access into Piano next position to continue to apply pressure to the bomb site.
Well, you see the notification at the top of your screen. Mute has been targeted by Deimos, but that's what the mute is all about, of course. You can run into those mute jammers. Avoid some of that tracking coming in from CL4L. But they've got the Jackal as well, so the Inox scanner will tack on to that additional hunt, applying towards this defensive team, trying to do what they can to get these opening kills, but get the information, first of all, to get them those potential kills. Already, you see that they've gotten that opening kill. They have information at their fingertips, but next step is actually getting this wall open. Exothermic charge down as it looks like the Electro Claw now has been dealt with. Zoto canister, too late. All will open up. So with less than 40 seconds to well, your CL4L team ready to in a winning position. The Ram doing good work up above, clearing as much space as possible, forcing this defense to move around, and down below, well, this is where the execute will happen next.
Checking in behind the pillar will be Bino, but Packer collects onto Newers. The Mute, who has been tracked down by seemingly every attacking operator, finally meets his demise. The LMG rings out from the base of the yellow stairs, but Yaga gets one. Tristan is downed and finished off, and now the flank coming out from Giddy wanders into a Goom line with 5 seconds remaining. A Nitrocell being ripped as the plant is being completed by Bino. The plant hit will be stuck all the way to completion. Giddy picks up Yaga. It's just Diaz alone behind the red car. Bino continues to pop heads on the Fragmite, and CL4L take a 2-0 lead.
And they got that diffuser down, and like you said, Flynn, they got it all the way to completion. But it's not always about the finish line. Well, the journey is pretty significant as well, because if you're not just setting up perfectly and getting ready to hold that in the post plant, like, there's only so much you can do. I mean, yes, the diffuser went down, but what did it get them? They were panicking, only a couple of seconds left, and then the swing comes in from CL4L. 1 and 2 kills there in the end, though. And it will be Bino. Look at the hype that he is bringing right now as this attack just set it up well and followed through. So tough, right, to get user down in that moment, but it was all about the protection that was being provided. That is what CL4L were able to commit with that. And Oxygen, I mean, they tried to stop it. They really did. You saw the swing coming in. You saw the attempt, but it was 1, 2, 3, and CL4L, they get on the board again.
Back-to-back attacking rounds on their own map pick. This is more of what we anticipated seeing on Lair, which was Oxygen's map pick, the opportunity for CL4L to pick the starting side. They chose to start on the defense, and we expected to see Oxygen have a little more success on the attacking side. Because they didn't choose it, they would have known that they would not be starting on the defense. Yet, we're seeing CL4L operate on a playbook that we more expected to see coming out of Oxygen. We're seeing Tristan, swift entry in through visas. Oxygen try to find a defensive objective that satiates their needs for some cover for the defuse and being able to withstand the pressure from up above. They'll now turn their attention to Piano and X position. Swift entry, like I said, for Tristan, but he immediately bails out of the position, potentially either aware of Gomez on the cardiac sensor or the call being made from inside the team of CL4L. They're going to rotate the push. This was looking very Visa and admin-sided on the initial entry, but now everyone turning their attention and sights towards CEO, maybe trying to isolate onto the bomb site itself, as there are 3 defenders, Tellers and Visa side at the moment. So Oxygen playing away from the bomb site, trying to horizontally spread on the first floor, not trying to control too much top floor control up by meeting and CEO.
Well, unlike the confusion and the chaos at the end of that last round that CL4L took, this one off to a much more, well, calm start. No opening kill just yet. Map control as usual. The focus up above for Adam and the likes of, well, the rest of this team. You saw how successfully they were able to get information in those first 2 rounds. Force those defenders back to relocate. Tristan, the Lion, that's what he's all about here. Those EDDs already used to get that information and get into the building safely. They're here, though, and they've taken that space. But as we talk about, so important to continue to do that, actually get the diffuser closer to the objective itself. The work with the skeleton key above will begin. That's Packer doing the work here. You see Oxygen down below now reacting to that. Gomez, the pulse, all the information that he has at his fingertips, he's going to try to relocate and get himself in a position below X position, below Piano, where he can actually deny, not necessarily the plant, but at the very least, give the teammates some info to work with in the meantime. Right now, the plant not going down quite yet, so we're going to wait to see Gomez and that C4 in a little bit. Right now, it's the information that is most important, as we've said. But as always, I mean, 3 rounds in on Consulate, CL4L have been locked in terms of where these defense are rotating, and now they go for the plant.
Plant going down from Packer. Hat cut down as he tries to launch a smoke grenade into the incorrect position. And the nitro cell from Gomez misses. Diaz falls. It's a 5v2 in the post plant in favor of CL4L. Trying to put 3 in a row on the attacking side on the board. Yaga and Gomez, the last men standing. A couple of UMP warriors, and they both fill the kill feed with headshots. Suddenly a 2v5 becomes a 2v3, ascending the yellow stairs and trying to take aim, being shot in the backside. Gomez laid to rest now by Tristan. It's just Yaga alone as he retreats to the bomb site, but there's 11 seconds ticking down. He has no idea where the diffuser is. He gets a nice shot onto Tristan, but now the timer has passed 7 seconds. There's a lot of talking going on in the all chat, but it's only CL4L talking on the scoreboard.
I mean, why? Is there anything that Oxygen can say right now to try to get themselves back into this one? Look at this attacking team, Flynn. It is unbelievable what we're seeing right now. Hat cannot believe it. Head in his hands. CL for life. Well, maybe not for much longer if this stays up. Montreal only 4 rounds away. And they have taken the first 3 in a row on their own map pick on the way there. Of course, this is when you see that tack timeout. It was bound to see it eventually, and here it comes at a do or die moment. Oxygen on the defense here have been unable to find a single round. The attacks have just been absolutely ruthless from CL for life. On a map like this as well, that is no easy feat. And frankly, Flynn, they've made it look relatively easy. It's been scrappy in the end, of course, don't get me wrong, but they have looked like the team that is going to win this game unless Oxygen can turn this one around. This map has gone 50-50. Looking at how it's been played over the course of the closed league phase, 9 separate instances, almost exactly 50-50 in terms of attacker versus defensive sided. 43 rounds to the defense, 42 rounds to the attack. This is such a good spot for CL for life to be.
Bino's even calling the tack for OXG, throwing up the hand, saying, this is the time, you guys, you need to burn it right now. Things are spiraling out of control for the Tier 1 team, and for the Tier 2 team, things could not be better. 3-0 up, already up 1-0 in the series, 3-0 up on the attacking side on Consulate, which is your map pick. And we see a return to the basement now for Oxygen, Garage and Kitchen, to try and get on the board. This is not the Oxygen that we saw participating in the series earlier tonight, or honestly, throughout the majority of this LCQ, this feels more like the Oxygen throughout the group stage that just really wasn't able to bring the fight to their opponents. Packer with a shotgun immediately starts, and that's not a boss G. That's an M590 onto Yaga at the front door, shutting down the Legion. That's a lot of utility taken away as well, as Newers will refill the position with a boss G at the front door, and he might take aim against Packer, wandering out on the Vigil, cloaked away from any potential drones. Packer just around the corner to his left. Got a drone inside of Tellers, but for the time being, they will still wander on the opposite sides of the hard wall from one another. Another drone comes out. Here comes Newers now, wandering out of the front door to level the score. It's a 4-4 man count now, and the shotguns raining terror throughout the server. Gomez as well gets in on the action as this roam for Oxygen is certainly bringing the fight to CL for life.
Well, you're seeing right now a perfect idea of how Oxygen have chosen to respond. Out of the tack timeout, they felt the pressure that CL for life was applying their way, the dismantling of the extension, the power they've moved through this map. How do Oxygen respond? Well, they counter it with a little power of their own. They get more active on the roam, and they say, Newers, go kill. Another kill for him on the round. That's 2. His first 2 he's found on the map, but 2 kills in combination with Gomez here that have really opened things up for Oxygen for the first time. Now they hold a 4-2 man advantage, and now finally they can breathe for a moment. Don't have to worry about losing this one right now. Right now, all they need to wait for is to see what Adam and Bino can do. We've seen crazier things in the past. and they do have some information to work with on this attack. But with those early kills, Oxygen have decided to fight fire with fire, and there is another one for Newers. Give that man.
Well, there we go. Oxygen on the board on the basement defense, and yeah, Jonah wasn't exactly flatlining completely there at the end, but it wasn't great. So we're gonna carry this one for a little minute. I think right now for CL for Life, they're gonna have to respond to the aggression that's being brought by Oxygen, as this seems to be a complete 180 in terms of ethos, in terms of identity for Oxygen. They call attack timeout, and instead of playing reserved bunker strategies inside of the bomb site, refusing to go for a roam or control off the objective, they immediately occupy all 3 floors, get in the face as much as possible, and it doesn't work out for the opening pick. Unfortunately, Yaga gets claimed by the M590 of Packer on the Deimos at the front door, and for the majority of the rest of the round, it was just Oxygen putting their foot onto the gas pedal. I think right now for Oxygen as well, finding some comfort and finding some leverage on one bomb site at least can give you some momentum to attempt to salvage the first half. Like Jonas said, before he disappeared, there was an opportunity for them to go 50-50, aligning with the stats that we see more often than not. But for Oxygen, it's going to require 3 rounds consecutively of their own. And while we say goodnight to Jonah for what feels like the 5th time, we say good evening to Fox A for the 2nd time.
Oh, it's your guys' favorite stand-in caster. And yeah, I mean, from my expertise opinion, Gomez is going to get the first kill onto the projector window. And that's what I was going to say. They needed exactly that. They need to stop the hemorrhaging of first opening kills. CL4L has been dominating that feat. And last round, the only reason they were able to bring it back was because of heroics from Newers being able to get that kill back. Now they're starting off the round right. They're starting off the round correctly. The first round where OXG gets the opening pick just to make their defenses a little bit easier. Consulate is still not a fair playing ground for both sides, but it is a little bit more defender-sided. It looks like CL4L is going to go for an Amaru rush, but the smoke is going to push him out. He's not going to be able to put the case down, so he's going to jump out, play the time. Good utility usage from OXG, a little bit of a standstill. CL4L won't be able to go for this again, but they're going to try one more time. Another smoke's going to come out, and the same answer happens. You want to try it for a 3rd time? Once that 3rd smoke is used, there might be a 4th C4 there to get rid of the player. They're going to have to try to add a little bit of mystery, an element of X factor, maybe a player coming from below, a player going down spiral. There needs to be something else, as it looks like a player from OXG has positioned himself behind the desk to get rid of this Amaru. The Amaru is going to stand in. Case is going to go down. He doesn't know that Hat's here. Hats is going to stand up, and he's going to take him down, and the Case is down in Nomad's land. As a pick goes off on the other side of the map, Yaga gets Packer, shuts him down, and now a 2v4 for OXG persists as the Case is down in an unwinnable spot. Nade's going to come out from below. Little damage trickles out. But now it's all going to get quiet as OXG have the Case. CL4L has to figure out how they're going to get a leg back in this clutch.
Well done, and yes, now Tristan from down below, utilizing the DMR to fire up through the floorboards. Hat, though, continuing to duck, dive, and dodge away from the oncoming fire. And he's still able to persevere. The rappel in from Giddy, it's good for 1, but no more than that. Tristan on the CEO rappel. Like you said, Fox, the diffuser surrendered into the territory of Oxygen. And now, OXG, they put 2 defenses back to back. And this is an opportunity for Oxygen to try and quell the momentum that we've had coming out from CL4L. You're going to talk now, Jonah. Okay.
We're here, and I got to listen to that Fox A play-by-play round, and I was loving that thing, dude. The guy is built to be a caster. I mean, he's got that experience as a player. He brings that extra bit of wisdom that even I can't bring. So really, really good stuff from him there. And again, yeah, internet dipped out, but for a second, we're back. What a round there in the end. Of course, you saw the explosivity. You saw Tristan get blown up in the end there by Yaga, and that is enough for Oxygen to take their 2nd defensive round win. 2 big ones in a row here. And CL for life. Well, you saw all that momentum they were able to build early. It slows down here as Oxygen have managed to stop the bleeding. Obviously, an attempt there from CL4L to change up the rhythm there, Flynn, to try to get in their face a little faster. We've seen that kind of plan all the time, quickly through the window, get that Gara hook going, get the Amaru in. But as you might expect, Oxygen, they're a quite experienced team. And even though they haven't had necessarily the results they wanted throughout the closed league this stage, they knew how to counter that and shut it down well.
Well, we're also going to see Oxygen travel the world on Consulate, and opting not to go back to Piano and Exposition, a round in which they had the plant go down and resulting in a 2v5. They had to attempt to fight at it. They got all the way down to a 2v1 at the end, so it was a valiant attempt on the retake post plant. But now we're going to see a split site come out for the fourth and final bomb site that Oxygen will play on Consulate, lest we go to overtime. You can see an initial entry from Adam into the garage, and he was wary of the piano hatch. That could bring forth a defender, but also just add leverage onto the situation downstairs in the garage and prevent Adam from progressing any further. Drones coming out. You see the return of the Valkyrie, the Pulse, the Vigil. There's a heavy emphasis right now from Oxygen's defense on intel gathering and intel disruption. And for a split site, you're going to need a lot of nitros. 3 of them on the board with the opportunity to gather information on an attempted plant from both the Pulse and the Valkyrie, but it seems that Packer has evaded all of these intel gathering devices and utilities, and he's all the way at the middle of Spiral Stairs.
Well, you see Tristan carefully positioning here, awaiting, well, a chance. I guess what? Maybe looking to make a move up above. Down below, of course, Packer, he's sending out that Deimos Deathmark tracker, trying to keep an eye on this player. Very close inside of Tellers. There he is, still a factor. Giddy will claim the first kill onto Gomez in the meantime. Diaz retaliates, and oh my goodness, Packer, unfortunately, let that defender get away. He's just fine, though, because he's taken control of this site, so he's in a pretty good spot to be right now. The problem is, of course, you've got a Pulse down below and a couple of C4s lying in wait. Bino will start this diffuser, getting this down on the desk. Good coverage from Adam. First nitro cell goes up, but nothing is found there. Adam, the pressure he's applying down below, overwhelming. Oxygen, well, their third defensive round, it may just elude them, unless Yaga and Diaz have anything to say about it here. The retake begins with Yaga working his way up and getting the kill onto one, but Bino on the coverage there, he takes care of Yaga, and Diaz now, well, what can he do? Eyes on the diffuser, but with a player close around the corner, it is Adam who tears Oxygen apart and makes it work as CL4L take their fourth win.
Oxygen attempting to run it on the fourth bomb site of Split, Tellers, and Server, and unfortunately, while you had all the utility at play via the Pulse and the Valkyrie and the Nitro cells to try and repel a plant, that util only works if you A, use it, or B, it survives. And we saw the Valkyrie cameras get shot by Packer on his entry into Tellers. And then we also saw, unfortunately for Hat, him downstairs not using the cardiac sensor while the plant was being attempted. It was an elevated plant at the end of the day, but just knowing that there was someone inside of the bomb site would have been useful for the side of Oxygen. And now we find ourselves in a position where CL4L are 3 rounds away from the major. We are inching closer and closer to D-Day for Oxygen, unfortunately. They need to, again, provide some of that resistance that we saw earlier on. This is really coming down to the wire for CL4L in terms of being able to put it across the finish line. 3 defenses stand between them and being the first T2 team in the Blast era to qualify for a major via an LCQ. Obviously, there are teams who have done it in the past via minor events, a la Secret, a la Fours, but since Blast has come in, this will be the first one in a long time.
Well, I think it's be the first one since 2021. That's when Makers was an organization in EU at the time. They made it to SI, and Parabellum in NA made SI as well. But it's been, well, 3 years. It'll be 4 by the time SI comes around. But for the Montreal Major, that's the focus here, and it would be something that has not happened for 3 years. A team that is not in a active closed league, pro league position, making an international event. On the defense now, their chance to do it. A 2-round lead right now is nice and comfortable, but they are going to stay on their toes, of course, as they have all series long, all night long, including in that first series. They know what they're dealing with here. CL for life, they're not under any misconceptions about the caliber of their opponents. They know they are going up against the best that NA has to offer, and so far, they've been able to go toe-to-toe with it. A C4, that could have been a big blow to start things off for the defense, but it will just miss. Oxygen now, wary of this, will cut Tristan down to a sliver of his life. He's got 7 HP remaining as he makes his escape from this admin-sided take that is going well so far for Oxygen.
Tristan somehow evades the Grimbies, the frag grenades, the assault rifles inside of admin. And his nitro cell came narrowly close to claiming the life of Newers for the opener. Dropped into 66 health, but it wasn't the lethal blow that he was desiring. Good news is, like you said, Joni gets away on 7 HP, and now nobody manning the spiral stairs camera. But as I say that, Diaz is actually the first casualty at the base of the Visa stairwell. Shotgun to the face. He's using that shotgun on both attack and defense. Is Packer. He's using it for some good for his team. Yaga, though, will equalize onto Bino. Tristan on 7 HP, still on the bomb site. But there's a flank downstairs from Packer. He descended those Visa stairs. He gets caught on the flank, though. Oxygen able to quell everyone maneuvering around the map on the side of CL4L. They do need to recover the diffuser, but they still maintain a 1-man advantage as Giddy cuts down that number count, and the swing comes out, but Gomez is better. Inside a connector, he will be dropped at the hands of Giddy, who will have to win the 1v3 in completion with a 4K on the round to win the round for his team and make it a 5-2 scoreline. The plant goes down to the hands of Newers, and with 3 death marks in his pocket, we talked about it before, he may be the mute and there may be jammers strewn around, but this still feels like an insurmountable task when the attackers have virtually wall hacks against you for the length of this death mark. The nitro cell, it falls well short of the intended target as well. And from inside of break room, Yaga will drop Giddy. The run back attempted for CL4L, but Oxygen, they get back on the board.
There is another world there where Adam wins that gunfight top yellow, and that is a CL4L round. That was one of those 50-50 moments where if one of the many bullets dumped downrange by the Vector connects with the head of the IQ there, I mean, it is a very different story. But an interaction we don't often see in Siege, and that is the deathmark tracker of Deimos actually being used in the post plant. I mean, how often has that sentence really been said? Fantastic time to use it. I mean, rarely do we see a single deathmark tracker still available. I mean, why would you keep one around for that time? All of them. You typically want to get those out of the way, clear the map, get the information you need when the diffuser is going down. But it was a happy accident that there was still a deathmark tracker remaining. He could identify the position of the final defender, who had already been identified, of course, so easy enough for him to do. And yeah, as you said, Flynn, with pretty much wall hacks in a 2v1 post plant, I mean, what are you supposed to do as a defender there? There is really no option at all. So a great way for Oxygen to start there. As always, scrappy on the execute. As we said, in that 2v2, one gunfight goes the other way. If Adam gets his 8th kill, I think CL4L walk away and lead 5-2 at the moment. But instead, it is 3-4. Oxygen have reduced this deficit to just 1.
Listen, it's narrow margins out here, but this is more the Oxygen we saw earlier this evening in their first series. Precarious rounds, close rounds, nail-biting rounds, they were still able to get it across the line and be able to persevere through tricky circumstances. No resistance on the garage wall. Not something you see every single day on a garage defense, but CL4L opting to utilize and prioritize other utilities, such as the Valkyrie cameras and such as Giddy on the boss sheet. We saw Gomez take a crack at that and last about 30 seconds as he attempted to run out the meeting balcony. We see Giddy in a similar position topside, up in manager. He's waiting for the approach of, that looks to be Diaz. He's opening the hatch inside of Visa, and those pellets will be shot off. So coverage being assessed by Giddy into Visa, making sure that nobody is able to open up the back hatches and try and facilitate a reverse server push, which means that CL4L, even though they left the garage wall undefended in terms of countering the hard breach, they still have ejected mirror windows staring directly at the garage, and the server push for now is being halted in its tracks.
Seeing how this defense is reacting to this, right? Do they get aggressive? Do they re-swing? Or is it about sitting back and waiting? Gomez, he's the one waiting down below, right next to the site, mind you. So at any point, if he hears some movement, could try to take care of a defender before they can rotate to safety. Up above, though, our eyes remain on Newers. Looking to get that skeleton key into play here in just a moment, but instead, the action down below is where things kick off. Adam will stop Hat from making his move, but Newers immediately answers, and with a full minute remaining, Gomez attempts the defuse. Adam says absolutely not. He swings, denies it, still an advantage for CL4L.
Giddy attempts the flank through Piano, and everyone right now for Oxygen seemingly attempting to recover from Hat's decision to preempt the motion, and unless that was planned by the team, it did not look well orchestrated. Pings come out to the top of the yellow stairs and into exposition, and Newers through the wall is able to pick up Packer on the retreat down yellow stairs. The diffuser is still surrendered behind the yellow pillar, and now spray is being taken towards Diaz, but Yaga off screen picks up Tristan from outside the breach. Adam on the response has a heads up 1v1 outside of the meeting doorway, and there goes Newers for his 4K on the round. Just like that, Oxygen have tied it and brought a round back from the depths that did not look like it went according to plan.
Well, what's one big difference, right, that we saw from those first 3 rounds and then after the tack timeout that Oxygen took? Newers is the man. Immediately after that tack timeout, he absolutely turned up and started to go a little crazy there. He's woken up. Yaga has woken up. He's now, what, got 10 kills plus to his name? I mean, you just saw it there. Such impressive work. I think that was 11 now for Yaga as he makes his move. It really is just a matter of this team finding their stride at the right moment. And what was looking like dire straits, 3-0 CL for life, it's now 4-4. This thing is a dead heat. And we are seeing that, well, I suppose this map and its 50-50 nature, well, may just be coming into fruition here, just not the way that CL4L had hoped, with an immediate 2-round comeback for Oxygen, a victory attacking the top floor and a victory attacking the bottom floor. So CL for life, despite being on the defensive side and, you know, showing some comfort here and there, they still have to find a bomb site they're comfortable with and can find a victory on.
Seeming like some mirror images between the two teams in terms of their defensive stands thus far. We saw Oxygen, like you said, Jonah, go 0-3 on their defensive set to open the map. Now we have CL4L going 0-2 on their defenses. Now heading towards Piano and Exposition, like you said, to try and find a bomb site that can feel like home and give them some comfort to be able to bounce back and push this thing closer to a match point. Hearing a lot of mute jammers come out, and Tristan will light things up nice and early on to Newers, who, like you said, has also been quite the difference maker as of late for Oxygen. He'll be laid to rest on the Deimos as well, courtesy of the Nitro Cell, which means there's still 2 Nitros in the back pocket of CL4L, and that's one of your key intel gatherers and entry players removed from play on the side of Oxygen.
Well, a brief correction to a statement I made earlier. Instead of being 3 years since a T2 team has made an international event, it would have been 2 years. We forgot about M&M in SI 2022. I can only have so much information in the mind at once. I was still combing through the Wikipedia pages to see what I missed. And it was M&M who made that SI, but it's still a huge deal. T2 teams don't just waltz in to international events. It takes an insane run. It takes, well, some unpredictability and a little bit of surprise. Speaking of, Bino and Adam, where did that come from? 2 back-to-back swings that take 2 more lives. A brutal smoke thrown right at Yaga. He gets a kill on Giddy to retaliate, but this one will now come down to Hat, and Adam is on a heater. We've seen this from him before in the most clutch moments, but he does it again to give CL for life the win.
This back-to-back attacking rounds for Oxygen where it feels very disjointed, almost like they're trying to attempt 2 simultaneous pushes, one that is direct to the bomb site and one that is away from the bomb site. And the attack towards Garage, it was the Hat and Gomez contingent that tried to push in through the bottom of Yellow Stairs doorway. And then it was Newers up above with Diaz flanking server-sided. In this round, it's similar. We've got 2 attackers trying to pour into the top side into CEO, getting rejected without a whole lot of intel, and then attempting to walk straight into Piano from the Yellow Stairs corridor. And all of it just gets rejected on entry. Absolutely denied by CL for life. Now we see them much like we saw from Oxygen, take a minute on the defensive side, but find a home that could feel comfortable to pivot off of. And now they do secure their first defensive win. They'll look to do it again and set up match point, series point, this time once again attempting the garage defense that was able to withstand that early entry from Oxygen. The Newers able to play flank control and really take control of the round the previous time attacking this bomb site.
I mean, how intense, how scary is this moment? I suppose for either team, but especially for, well, CL for life. I mean, Flynn, I don't know, you know, your experience as a player, right? It's been a minute, but you've been in lobbies in intense moments like this with big results on the line. I mean, what is it like to be in a situation like this where you are 2 rounds away from a major? How does one keep your cool?
I would say the lobbies I were in were aggressively medium results.
Yeah, but you played in there. You were in some lobbies, you know?
Hey, when the stakes are this high, you really get to see the difference between the team's mental fortitude. And I think I've been consistent on commending Oxygen for their mental fortitude for the entirety of this LCQ. Every game they've been in has not looked like they have been deflated or like they have been completely figured out and demotivated to the point that they are unable to compete. Even in this map, where it started 0-3, they have dug and clawed their way back. And honestly, it does look very different than the team that we saw in the group stage. So to be in the lobby, I think we heard it from CL4L as well at the post of map number 1, which was just another day in the office. Both of these teams just taking this one round at a time. For CL4L, obviously a lot less at stake as they are not the T1 team with the expectations. But I mean, for Oxygen, the way they began this stage, you got to think everything since then in this LCQ has been icing on the cake. Going to the major would be lovely. Losing to a T2 team would be sad, but so is everyone else who's crossed paths with CL4L at this point. It really just does come down to who can have the better mental in these dying few moments. The rush immediately in from Adam and Tristan. They both light up with the nitro cells, again rejecting the entries of Oxygen.
I mean, you're seeing this team get the kills they need to in the perfect moment. Newers has been the man of the hour, as has Yaga. Newers is going to have to be the one to do it himself as his teammate is already gone. He's got 9 kills to his name. Getting Oxygen back in this one will require something big. Nitro Cell Packer gets himself killed. Diaz will clean up Tristan, and just like that, this thing has swung back in the favor of the attack. Bit of a blunder for Packer. He's going to want that one back, especially as Newers lines up his triple. Heartbreak for CL for life in that one. They held the advantage and just could not hold it out. Packer, hate to see things like that. We're tied up, though. It is still anyone's game on Consulate.
Yeah, that Nitro Cell caught me off guard. I'm not going to lie. And I think, unfortunately, for CL4L in that round, a storyline that's very reminiscent of what we saw in the C9 Beast Coast game against CL4L, especially on Bank. We saw a majority of rounds going 5v3 in favor of Cloud9 Beast Coast, and CL4L being able to dig out of the trenches and secure the round victory. This time, we see the flip script on them, and it done to them in return. A 5v3 advantage, thanks to the Nitro cells that absolutely rejected anyone trying to pile in through the garage breach, and instead we stand at an even scoreline on map number 2. A much closer affair than we saw on map number 1 of Lair. Nonetheless, we're going to need all 12 in regulation and possibly some extra frames to decide if CL4L is going to walk away with the 2-0 or if Oxygen are going to continue their trend of this LCQ and dig deep to find a way to find us onto Clubhouse, which is map number 3.
Attackers are heading out to defuse a bomb.
All right, elimination, of course, the problem for OXG, but a win here would get them to that 3rd map. It would not be the end of the line for CL4L, although it feels like we are reaching that exciting conclusion, that flashy finish. We could still see one more map. We could still see this go, what is it, 1:20 a.m. Eastern time? We could see this go all the way to 3. I mean, if we go OT here, go OT, map 3. I mean, we're still in for quite a finish here. So if Oxygen can pull this one out, find their stride again in these next 2 attacks. I mean, we've seen plenty of incredible stuff from CL for Life. Adam, these last few rounds, has almost single-handedly been giving the entire CL4 Life team that energy they need, been giving the entire CL fan base a bit of hope. But there is still potentially that third map on the horizon. No opening duel just yet. Gomez looking for it. The EDD out, rather the EE1D out. See if he can find something. But so far, the defense avoiding capture. In fact, capturing one, two of their own. Adam has 14 kills and cannot be stopped.
Adam was being hunted at every turn. It felt like there was some piece of intel being gathered on him, whether it was the death mark or the Lion EOD. So much intel gathered by Oxygen to try and hunt him down and acquire the opening pick. But he gets 2 for his trouble, divides it into 2 1v1s, and hits the headshot with the Vector on both. Now evades the last Lion EOD, and still holds out inside of the locker's hallway. There's 2 more attackers in the basement hunting him down, and he continues to waste the clock and waste the lives on the side of Oxygen with nowhere to go. Diaz is the man holding the diffuser as well. And after their 2 minutes of endeavoring to find Adam downstairs, they cut their losses and head flying up spiral stairs, trying to return their attentions towards the bomb site. The objective of the game is to put the bomb on the floor, and Packer will weather the frag grenades and flashes, all flying towards him. Shotgun point blank once again, his weapon of choice today. Again, avoiding the flashbangs, waiting for the approach, but now Adam on the flank. Packer gets 1, Adam gets his 3rd, and now it is just Diaz alone to prevent match point and series point against them. The fire will erupt in front of his doorway, meaning that there is no escape from the pain that is coming. Tristan is able to duck back into meeting, and now Diaz will watch the timer tick away. A frag grenade out to the vending machine, and it will not connect onto any defender. The fire continues to burn. He'll hit yet another goo mine for his trouble. As he pulls out the needle, he will be shut down by the super shorty, and CL4L match point, major point.
Adam, are you kidding me with this? I mean, the 2 kills he found early, borderline impossible. He then wastes another 30, 40 seconds down below after already taking a minute of the attack's time. And then he comes up on the flank just to get 1 more and drive that dagger deeper into the backs of OXG. What a hot streak now for this CL4L team. And now they sit on major point. They would buy their ticket right now to the Montreal Major and a chance to play an international competition after being on the sidelines all stage long. What a story this would be. It's hard not to pull for this. I know, we want to see that third map. We want to see this go down to the wire, but how can you not want to see the Cinderella story take place in front of your eyes? Attack time out here taken by guess who? CL for Life. They take this moment to regroup before heading into the final round, looking to put this away in regulation.
Oxygen just needing to tie things up to send it into overtime, to prolong this game. If they can get to Clubhouse, we saw their performance on that map earlier this evening. There is still hope for the Oxygen side, but it all rests on this one attacking round towards Piano and Exposition, in which they were unsuccessful in the previous attempt, really just trying to rush their way into the bomb site without much information on where the CL4L defenders were. Even with all the information in the previous round, it didn't net them the opening kill. Instead, 2 opening deaths that Adam carried all the way to the end. The triple kill on the round, being able to maneuver around the map freely, even at the cost of the death mark and the Lion EOD. There was nothing that could stand in Adam's way. And now for CL4L, it's again employing a lot of top control, in stark contrast to what we saw from Oxygen on their defensive hold of this bomb site. Not trying to head down to the garage as of yet. We may see a return to the basement later on in the round, but for right now, CL4L trying to amass themselves topside, CEO, meeting, projector balcony, trying to lock down the top floor and make sure that any entries from the Oxygen are shut down swiftly. You can see the rappels being amassed for Oxygen over towards the admin side. This seems to be the initial point of ingress that Oxygen have chosen to keep their hopes alive.
Newer's on the hunt for some information as well as some kills. He and Yaga, as we've said, not only leading the team in these kills all season long, doing it again here. Needing to see some more contribution, though, from the rest of this team. And they're just not getting it from Gomez, Hat, or Diaz right now. It's been a problem. It's got them to the point where they are right now. I mean, they're doing everything they can, but Yaga, gun out of his hands. Now he's playing the blitz. So the flash shield will have to be his weapon of mass destruction here in this round, as he, well, will likely be the spearhead of this attack. Bino, of course, the Warden. We're going to keep an eye on him, as he will need to be the one to stare down Yaga and hopefully win that fight for CL4L as far as their defensive hopes are concerned. But again, this early round, Flynn, it's just about biding their time and waiting for their moment to strike. Smokes go out, though. CL4Life, wary of this push. Adam, at 15 kills, is looking for his 16th. It might just be around the corner here, but instead it is Tristan who steps up first. Yaga now, the next player to make the move. He's got some information, but now he has to act on it.
All the goo mines being strewn around inside of Connector are going to halt Yaga's progress, as he has the assist from the Grim Bees, but he doesn't have the opportunity to spring into action and get aggressive. A crossfire being established up top between Bino and Giddy now. As 3 attackers all amass, the shots ring out, but they won't do any damage to the side of Yaga. He continues to press, Tristan taking more damage off screen, but Giddy and Bino continue to lock down CEO, absolutely denying anyone from Oxygen from making their way in. More goo mines at the feet of Giddy will continue to slow down the progress. The frag grenade, it sails wide left. Giddy perseveres. Bino undetected in the position. Down goes Yaga, being lit up through the wall. Newers will at least trade out one, but the vault out from Giddy. He hits the rotation of a lifetime, gets back downstairs and gets cleaned up by Hat. 3v3, health advantage barely onto the side of OXG, but they need to get the plant down. 15 seconds tick away against the tier 1 team to press into action. 2 defenders stacking on the yellow stairs. Hat goes running face first into them, and that is the diffuser on the ground. All of Oxygen full. There was a Cinderella story that took over Manchester. There is a Cinderella story going to Montreal. CL4L, maybe not for long.
Oxygen goes down. Oxygen goes down. And Packer, Adam, Giddy, Tristan, and Bino are Montreal bound. What a moment for this team who has been through the trenches and comes out on top in this LCQ. An emotional moment, an incredible moment for this team who just can't believe that they are headed to the international stage.
North America, you have another challenger. There were 9 NAL teams that participated in Stage 2, and 3 of them will occupy the 4 major spots represented by North America in Montreal. The 4th spot in North America for the first time in the Blast era will be occupied by a Tier 2 team. Challenger League for life. Like I said, maybe not for much longer. They qualify to the Montreal Major, slaying dragons and toppling the demons in the top of North America's best all along the way through the bracket. But that is all we have for you in the LCQ. Thank you. And as we head to a break, we will get the thoughts from everybody on the desk. They picked Oxygen all the way to the finish line, but CL4L, they continue to upset. We will be right back.
I'm holding hatch.
I'm holding it.
I get this.
Oh my fucking god! That's no. Oh my god! Let's fucking go!
Nah, go
We need the fucking
Light
that shit up, Adam. Light that shit up.
Oh my god, let's go!
The energy infectious. there's nothing more you can really say. I mean, it's the ultimate story. It's insane that they did what they did. They deserve all the credit in the world. They have 1000% demonstrated that they deserve to be a tier 1 team. They're going to Montreal. They are a tier 1 team. What am I talking about?
I mean, this came down to sheer drive, determination, passion, hunger, everything across the board that you could say about this team, and wanting it. They absolutely do. You got to keep in mind, this team isn't being paid to play. This is them showing up and proving not only to themselves, but to the rest of the world that you can make something work if you get 5 individuals that all want the same end goal, and they absolutely crushed it and made Montreal. You got to give these guys their flowers.
Yeah, I mean, they deserved it. I mean, even in the end of comms, just hearing how passionate everybody is, just screaming for joy. I mean, it's that energy that I feel like a lot of current players, you know, I hate to say it, a lot of the current Pro League teams that they beat, they just don't have that fire anymore. Like CL4L had them, that passion. It brings me back to the old days when everybody was just playing. It was just a dream, trying to go pro at a video game. And now to see them accomplish this, I mean, phenomenally well played. The strategy from them, led by Bodega. He did it again. He did it once with Xset. He's here bringing this team now to a major. I mean, just so much respect to this team. I can't wait to see what they can do at the major. I hope that they bring the same kind of intensity. And wow, I mean, also standout performance from Adam. Way to bounce back after getting dropped from a team, and just a phenomenal player the whole LCQ stage.
And you know what? Here's the thing. It wasn't a fluke. They did, you know, play every single game. They played it well. They out-strategized their opponents. It wasn't just a matter of gun skill or maybe just winning weird brawly maps. I mean, they actually played so well. And I think those last 2 maps against Oxygen really were like the epitome of, hey, look at how good we can be in this kind of environment.
Yeah, I like I said, I'm just at a loss for words right now. I mean, the fact that these guys have just done the unthinkable, the impossible, I mean, from strats, from play style, from personalities, these guys are hitting their mark in every single category. Again, this is a Pro League worthy team. They should be in Pro League just based off their performance and everything that they have displayed thus far, and continuing, like Fox said, hopefully into Montreal, that they can go there, bring the same tenacity, bring the same energy, because they are an absolute force to be reckoned with.
No, absolutely. I mean, you're just seeing some of the memes, some of the tweets that people have been putting, and I mean, wow, well deserved. The community behind CL4 Life, the whole T2 community. I mean, some of these players have been playing since 2020, and it's just their first event, not even going into Pro League, just their first thing Siege Pro League related is the Montreal Major. Hats off to them.
1000%. Now let's get the man, the myth, the legend, Packer in here for the interview. Hello. Hello, Packer. Solar Flare Competitive League, Season 2, 2021. I casted you when you were on a team called Surf Esports, and now you are going to the Montreal Major. Congratulations. I am so proud of you. The desk is proud of you. The casters are proud of you guys. I know that all of Tier 2 is so proud of you. An amazing run, a truly amazing, historic run.
This is a dream come true. I mean, the first goal that I've ever made was making an event, and for all my teammates, I appreciate every single one of them to believe in me. Giddy spent $1,000 just to be here for this LCQ. He had to go to his brother's wedding in Puerto Rico, and he flew back the day before so that we could scrim and so that we could play this LCQ as a team. And I can't thank him enough.
Amazing. Yeah, I mean, Laxing was crunching some numbers. We were crunching some numbers. It took you guys 260 plus rounds and 25 maps played since September 7th of this year to secure your spot. How do you feel now that all your hard work is paid off?
I mean, I appreciate all my teammates for believing in me as their IGL, for listening to me, for listening to my calls. I appreciate all of them. I mean, this hard work I've been grinding at it for years, and I've been gatekept for a long time, so this helps a lot to prove that, like, to myself especially, that I'm a Pro League player and I deserve to be there.
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody now, man, who's going to doubt that you guys are a 2-1 team. I mean, you said to me last night, we're going to the major. I admired your confidence then. I admire you now for following through on it. I mean, you are going to the major. What region are you looking forward to play against? Not like everyone or anything like that. Is there a specific region of the world that you're like, I cannot wait to compete against?
I'm just excited to compete. I'm excited to compete. This is a dream come true. And if like, I'm just happy to be here. You know, I'm just here for the ride at this point.
Amazing. Yeah, no, I can understand.
I don't like the answer. No, I'm kidding.
Shout out Wildcard for me and Adam being dropped. Shout out Wildcard. Shout out. You could have had me and Adam, but you could have had us. Look at the jersey.
A statement, if ever there was one. Let me ask you a good follow-up question to that. Then that little outburst, deserving perhaps. If you could take one pro team spot in the NAL, who would it be?
Any. I don't give a fuck. Sorry, I cursed. Oh my god. But I don't care.
It's okay. It's okay. It's after 1 o'clock in the morning. It's protected hours.
I don't care.
You're good,
I want to play.
I
want to play. I don't care about any pro league team. I don't care. Any team. We'll smoke any team.
Well, you're going to have a chance to prove that when you get to Montreal. Last question. What are you guys going to do to celebrate? After you get some sleep, of course.
I don't know, but I'm going to have a great time in Montreal with my buddies. They're all my friends. I'm excited to play. I'm having a blast. This is going to be so much fun.
It will be. I think all of us, our hearts go with you. We're looking forward to seeing you on that Montreal stage. Big congratulations again, and best of luck to you guys in your international competition. I can't believe it.
I'm in a major. I'm in a major to CL team.
You're in a major. You're in a major, bro. Congratulations, bud.
All right, I'll see you guys. I'm gonna hang out with my team. I love you guys. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for all the community. I appreciate all you guys. Love you.
Love it. You love it. I knew he wanted. I knew he was gonna get it in. I knew he was gonna get it in. But I love him.
I was gonna say, I just want to ask you, Fox, because I don't know if that, like, seeing that passion, seeing that drive, like when you made your first major, when I made my first major, just first event in general. I mean, I can truly relate and understand everything that's going through his head, through his mind. I mean, it sent a chill up my spine, even seeing them win and see how excited they got. I mean, I am so happy for these guys. They absolutely deserve this.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, for everyone that's a part of this, you at one point you're just a kid playing a video game, being really good at it, having fun, and then you make a major and it just feels all that more legitimate. So, I mean, yes, it feels great watching for anybody at home watching these guys make it. It's like seeing dreams come true.
Yeah.
And again, I hope they go there and they perform their hearts out. And just, I mean, Packer said they're gonna have a good time either way. So it's great to see them. They deserve it. They showed more heart than a lot of the pro league teams today.
Yeah, he said it himself. It is a dream come true, and it truly is. This is our final bracket, gentlemen. And if you had asked, I think, any of us, probably anyone in NAL, what it was going to look like at the end, I do not think they would have seen CL4L getting a clean 2-0 over Oxygen in the LCQ final.
No, I don't think anybody would have predicted this. They just slowly, I mean, the whole bracket was honestly ups and downs from the start, but CL4L beating the previous major champs, I mean, that was obviously probably the biggest wake-up call that we all should have jumped on the CL4L bandwagon, the boat, to believe in them, but we didn't. Time and time again, we just kept giving the edge to the pro league teams, and it just goes to show you that anybody that puts the heart and the passion in a game like Seed, at the end of the day, it's all left out to the server, and they put the work in. They had the pieces, and they made it work, and I mean, that really is a start to finish, kind of a scripted, written in the stars Cinderella story for CL4L.
Yeah, and for me, I mean, this isn't even biased. I think we by far had the best LCQ matches possible that no other region is going to be able to muster out. And then in terms of sending someone, no one's going to even come close to what CL4L even had to do. So, I mean, for myself, for everyone here, and I mean, everyone watching, I mean, this was just such a highlight moment to just be a part of. I mean, this was history in the making right here, and we were all a part of it. And I just couldn't be any more, again, happier for these guys.
There's not a lot of stories like it. Genuinely, there are not a lot of stories like it. But unfortunately, this is the last NAL broadcast for the year. You guys have been working it all this time. I want to give each of you a chance. Let's start with Fox. Final thoughts on NAL stage going into next year, going into the major.
I mean, I'm really happy with the I don't want to say the opponents, but with the teams that we're sending towards the major. I really think every region, there's not one team that's standing amongst the rest. I really think NA has the best chance at getting another trophy win for North America, and events in NA are always the best in my opinion. So, I mean, I'm excited to see how Montreal goes and see all the NA teams represented. And God, I pray that they don't choke. I pray that none of the NA teams go to majors and just transfer and choke.
And I'll be on the other side of the fence here, is that obviously Jacob, obviously to you, Corbeck, our production, the community, Fox, even to yourself. I mean, me and you took a very big step into this analyst role here, this stage, with obviously losing Jeff, having that staff guy, being the face of NA for the longest on that desk. And me and you came into this role, and I think we really changed the dynamic of what the analyst desk looks like for the NAL stage. So, I mean, hats off to you. You have done a tremendous job, and it's been great being a duo once again, not only in the game, now as an analyst desk, and I can't wait to see what the future looks like and what many, many more memories that we can make together. And again, I love everyone. I appreciate the support, and it's been nothing but bliss throughout this entire stage.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear, guys. Well, of course, a big congratulations to all our major qualifiers: Dark Zero, Space Station Gaming, Sonics, and finally Challenger League for life. Congratulations to all of you. We look forward to seeing you on the Montreal stage. So for the final time, let me thank all the talent and behind-the-scenes staff who have made this NAL stage exciting. There are simply too many to name. And of course, from all of us here on the broadcast team, thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful evening.